Hi, welcome back to the shop. This is volume number 7 of Crash Repairs. All right, so last off we finished up the nose ring and molded on the bottom. We put the bottom half on the landing gear plate. Now we're going to finish off the bottom. Off camera, I installed the battery mount. It's just a piece of 1/8 plywood with two sides on it, and it gets bolted to those mounts. You can see in there, removable, so you can get the ESC in and everything. And the big stuff. This is we're winding down here. So on the bottom, as I thought about it, I didn't like the way the thing was blending in. So what I did was I cut it back a little bit. And again, I made this piece. But dry fit in pretty close. I still got to make some formers. I also have to cut out for the landing gear, and I'm still thinking about how I'm going to do that. I think a couple things have to happen. So that fits up pretty good. So we got to do is we got to get this piece in with some formers on it. And then we got to cut out for the landing gear mount. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the formers now. I just want to see where it lines up. I'll make 3 formers here. Same way we've been making them. Yeah, it's a little tight. So, we're switching the camera a little bit. Again, I've done this a couple times on a video here. Put a new blade in here. The new blades make the difference. Uh, the same thing you'd cut out on the outside of the line. Put it in there. We'll sand it in. And if you want to be careful, if you go like this, you're going to have a tendency of cracking it and it sticks up higher. So what I'm doing is just kind of working it down. What I'm trying to see is how well it fits up to what's there. This plane's a couple years old, so it's moved around and a few other things. Okay. All right, now let's just make sure we mark them all. The other thing we're going to have to put in here is an exhaust, which I'll do after I get some formers in. I'll think about it, how I kind of want it. Hmm. We'll see. Now these formers stick down below. So all I'm doing is cutting the corners off so it's straight down. So we gotta cut it down a little bit more. This bottom is double layered. Taking my block and yeah, we gotta go down a little bit more. But it's getting there, it's close. Now I'll put the next former in. And again, you're always leaving the line. Always cut to the outside of the line, just leave it. Just lining it up. Now what we got to do is we got to sneak up on the fit here. We'll continue to work this fit in until it's right. I do got to make a couple more fingers. What I want to figure out is where I want to cut it back to the landing gear. So I'm going to use a piece of 1/4 inch here in the front, about a quarter, and then I want to come back to weight there. Right up there somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I don't have a thing here, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So if I look, about 1 7/8 back. Let's see. We'll go back 2 inches. So what we're going to do here in the mold is we're going to cut a new line. 2 inches back, I'm going to make a new former style. So I'm going to take my saw blade here and I'll cut it. I think I have a. I was hoping I had a Sawzall blade. I guess I don't have one. Sawzall blade is just thicker. So what I'll do is. So what we'll do is we'll just cut both sides of this. I'll cut both sides of the line. Then all we did was we just cut another former in this one here. So what I'm doing here on the outside is just marking where that former is. So when I go to cut it, I can cut on the right side. I want. All right, same deal. Actually, I got a piece of 332nd. I want to make this one a little bit, so it's going to be a. And again, just cutting the outside of the line. And then what I do is just hold it in place. And what I want to do is just double check. Yeah, I don't do a trimming off the bottom here on this one. Just lightly scoring it. That one has to be flush with the bottom because it sits on the plywood. And we'll have to continue to work this in. And in fact, we have to actually have to sand this one down in a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it in. Right, just taking a sliver off of it. So take a little bit more. So just doing this carefully by eye, just taking off like a 30-second at a time here. Till it sits down flush to the side. Oh, we're pretty close there. We just got to come on down a little bit. So we're going to sand some of this in here. And we're gonna have to just keep sneaking up on it. We got a little bit more ways to go here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark the side here and take a little bit more of a cut. Otherwise, I'll be here for a week standing. Now, what I'm gonna do, and I know that's good to there. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'll hold this right up here, and we're gonna carefully cut through. We'll do is carefully cut through it. All right. Now what we'll do is we'll sand that in a little bit. All right, it's a little soft in there, and that's where it kind of crashed. So what I'm gonna do, yeah. So all I'm gonna do is put in some CA in this spot here, harden up this side here. All I'm doing is running CA in here. Keep it out of the controls. Yeah, we should. But yeah, just trying to stiffen this up a little bit. A little kicker to help it dry, just so when I move around. Okay, that stiffened up that side a little bit. So let's take a look now. Straight edge here. Side is pretty good. Now we gotta cut this down. Oh, good. So like a good size, so I'd gotta come down with it. Same deal, we're gonna kind of keep sneaking up on it till we get it. We can do two. Really just looking to get a reference line to put this back on. The other thing you can do is you can run tape on the side of it as well. That's pretty good. So I split it a little bit to get it to just split up the sides. That's pretty close right there. So that I'm very happy with the lineup on the lineup pretty close on both sides here. So what I want to do is mark it. So now what I'm gonna do is cut this. I'm gonna cut this now, and I'll be able to save that piece for the for landing your plate over it. I still got to think through how I'm gonna do that. Now, carefully, you got to cut this. I want to get as square as I can. Okay, so pretty good cutoff. Now we'll just clean up we'll square up this edge. Yeah, that's the fit up for the looks pretty good. Save this little piece. All right. And so now, the other thing we're gonna put an exhaust tube in. So I'm gonna think through how I'm gonna do that. Probably do a piece of 64th plywood that I'll make into a circle. Probably maybe I'll use this bottle here. I'll make it to a circle. I'll cut it out and I'll keep fitting it in until it's to where it's got to go. But that'll come in right about here somewhere, and we'll cut it out. All right. Yeah, so I was thinking about this. I'm gonna use a piece of 1/16 also. All I'm gonna do is wet it with some water, and then I have, let's see, what size is this? Like 1 3/8 inches. So I just roll the 1 3/8 inches around it. And what I'll do now, this stuff is wet, so tape don't like to stick to it, but tape will stick to itself. So I got that now. And now what I'm gonna do, I just gotta get something to hold it. And I'm gonna heat it with my heat gun until it dries. And that's gonna be my exhaust port. Heat gun. So if you keep heating it, the moisture will come right out of it. It's a little damp, just getting there though. Let me heat the inside a little bit more. All right. That should be dry enough to be able to use. Let's see. It is. All right. So now we just gotta figure out the angle here. We're gonna cut this in at. So I'm just gonna take an arbitrary cut here. Dry it up a little more. Now what I'll do is I'll use my cutting pad. It's got some lines on it. Some 45, so I'll use that as a good reference. Just take your time cutting it because you could easily shuffle. Just take your time. All right, let's see. Is that enough? Do I want a little more angle? I think I want a little bit more angle. So I'll practice sand that angle in a little bit. So let me set up to do that. So I want a little more angle on it. So just looking for more angle on it. And you got to be careful cutting again. Just careful cutting, but it's too easy to crack it at this point. And I can't believe I didn't crack it. Usually I do. All right, so that's going to go in like there somewhere. I like that much better. Now we got to kind of think through the piece of it. So what's nice is I can use this as a kind of like good reference to kind of get me there. And we're going to use T-Lar. That looks about right. So I'm just kind of impregnating with the hole saw. Now, we'll carefully cut through this. All right, now if you think about it, this is going to come in an angle, so we got to kind of cut that angle. All right. And now we'll do is take my drum hole and kind of open the sides up a little bit. And we'll continue to work this through. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut slits on each side. Make like a little crack. If you can look, I cut a little track to make this go in straight. I have to cut a little bit more to kind of position it where I want. But so what we want is a little bit more. And what I'm doing that is then I get this nice. I'll be able to get this nice, clean, straight edge in here after I'm done. Oh, perfect. Thanks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue this in first. I'm not gonna glue this in yet. What I'm gonna do is push it up a little bit. Just want to push it up a few more times here. And then once that's, I'm gonna glue this in back here, glue it all in. And then I'll put the air scoop down and glue it in. Once it's all in, I'll cut it out. So let's get ready to glue it. That'll kind of be it for tonight. All right, new tip. Another one of those things that don't be afraid to use up these tips. Nothing worse than cleaning the glue bottle with glue go over the plane. All right, so first things first here. I just want to give myself a little bit of flexibility here. These are triangles that were cut in originally. And all I'm doing is kind of scoring with it so I can push that in just a touch. All right, the other thing I'm going to do is what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out for the air scoop there, just to give it more airflow in there. We're going to be capping back to 4 minutes. That I just did. Now I'm going to do is take my Dremel and just clean up the hole. Okay. Now we're pretty much all set here. I like the way that fits up in the front here. Really happy with that. Now the back half, we just got to work on fitting that up right. I'm doing just a crack 4 minutes in there. Do that side in, kind of push this side over. That's good. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna line up this side first. Okay. This side's glued on nice now. So this side we gotta just fit up a little bit. I have to sand this one side just a little bit, but it's nice. It's double wall, so we got a couple spots that aren't perfect, but we'll just blend them right in. They'll blend in, you won't see them. Now I'm gonna line this up and get this exactly where I want it. Like so. The air scoop is now in. So now what I'm gonna do is glue it down to the plate. Scoop now, I would cut it off. What you want to do is take a Zonosaur and you want to cut it off and leave it proud. About a 16th to an eighth proud. And you'll sand the rest in. I'm using my 26 blade here. I'll trim a little bit more off of it. Just a little less sanding to do. I have to just blend it in. Have you see? There it is. And also, we're going to mount a timer on here. We'll play the timer on that plate. But that's pretty much it. I do want to just clean up the front a little. Use my Dremel. Okay. Pretty good. I got a little gap, so I'm gonna take a piece of pulsa and stick it in. Get rid of that gap. And a little CA to hold that block in. So I got to be able to move the landing gear forward either way. I think about how we're going to finish this off here. What I might do is just put a block on here. Block that kind of just fits in. I can sand it in. To be able to allow it to go both ways. I'll think about that, or I may use this piece here. So we'll think about something on how to make that work to be able to put that in place. All right, but overall, that's pretty good. So we got the air outlet in. So pretty much what I got for tonight. Sun for dinner here. Last couple things to do. Obviously, the air outlet's now done. It came out really nice. I was really happy with it. So that's already set up to come out. Now the landing gear cover plate. We'll have to figure out something with that. I think a couple ideas. Got to cut the inlet hole, and then I got to fill in a little piece of balsa here, and then we got to put some super fill in some of the spots. I'm gonna show you how I super fill around that battery hatch to get you a really nice battery hatch fit. But there you go. The hole's in it. It's got an air outlet. It's coming along. I would say probably one or two more sessions, and I can give it back to Will for finishing. I would recommend you do is got covers with carbon bale, sand all this finish down, sand it all down flat, get almost all the paint back off. And then you can refinish it, and it should come in around, around 61 to 62 ounces. Right, we're calculating it roughly about where it should be. If he's careful with the paint, he can definitely get it under 61. So, all right. Hope you picked up a few tips, and thanks for watching.